Lord Krishna gives us instruction in Bhagavad Gita verse 18.65, which is his final instruction in Bhagavad Gita. Man-manā bhava mad-bhakto mad-yājī mam namaskuru mami vaishyasi sataram te pratijani priyosi me. It means, always think of me, become my devotee, worship me and offer your homage unto me, and you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. This he says to Arjuna. On the Valentine Day each year, we are reminded and we are all pushed to show our love to a dear one. Many or most of us already know that we have had innumerable past births. So today, not tomorrow, not after 5 years, can we take a vow to offer our heart to Krishna just for this lifetime and then see what happens. Krishna himself says in the verse 9.23, Kaunteya pratijani name bhakta pranashyati. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Now, as a choice between leading our current life full of eternal bliss and a promise from none other than Krishna himself to forever get a break from the eternal cycle of birth and death, is giving our heart to Krishna for just one lifetime a bad bargain? So just for this one lifetime, let us give our heart to Krishna and experience on our own the sheer bliss the Supreme Lord gives us in return for our heart. Else, millions of future lifetimes await us in any case, and there's no loss for us. I'm copying few verses. Now I'm reading some few verses from Brahma Samhita. Just by reading those verses, a dry and a stone-like heart of mine feels attracted towards Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradhar Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the Supreme Godhead. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body, and he is the origin of all. He has no other origin and is the prime cause of all causes. Chintamani Prakara Sadmasu Kalpa Vriksha Laksha Vrateshu Surabhir Abhipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shatasambrama Sevyamanam Govindam ādi-puruṣaṁ tamaham bhajāmi. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, yielding all desire in abodes built with spiritual gems and surrounded by millions of purpose trees, wish-fulfilling trees. Always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis. Venum Kvanantam Aravinda Dalayataksham Barhavatamsam Asitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam ādi-puruṣaṁ tamaham bhajāmi. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute, with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with head decked with peacock's feather, with a figure of beauty tinged with the hue of black clouds, blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids. Now, Alola Chandrak Lasada Vanamalya Vamshi Ratanangadam Pranayakeli Kala Vilasham Shyāmam Tribhanga Lalitam Niyata Prakasham Govindam ādi-puruṣaṁ tamaham bhajāmi. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, round whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers beautified with the moon locket, whose two hands are adorned with the flute and jewel ornaments, and revels in the pastimes of love, whose graceful threefold bending form of Śyāmasundara is eternally manifest. Angani yasya shaklaindriya vritti manati pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti ananda chinamaya sadujjvala vigrahasya govindam ādi-puruṣaṁ tamaham bhajāmi. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, Satchidanand, truth, substantiality, and is thus full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of that transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged functions of all the organs, and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane. Premāñjana-cchurita. This is a favorite shloka of mine which I like from Brahma Samhita, and I always remember this whenever like I feel totally lost. So this verse, this shloka brings me back to my, it brings me back to where I should be. premāñjana-cchurita-bhakti-vilocanena sadaiva hṛdayeṣu vilokayanti śyāmasundaram acintya-guṇa-svarūpaṁ govindam ādi-puruṣaṁ ahaṁ bhajāmi. I worship Govinda, the primal Lord, who is Śyāmasundara, Krishna himself with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion, tinged with the salve of love. So, when Krishna has descended to give us the precious gems of bhakti, loving the Lord and going back to Godhead, then why do we celebrate all these temporary days like Valentine Day, etc.? We are interested only in Janmashtami, Radhashtami and all those festivals like Gaur Purnima, where the Lord is giving us a message that you love Him, His devotees, and go back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada has given all this information, like all these learnings, teachings to us, and there is the information regarding all this in his centers, and there are books which we can read and remember. So each year, especially when somebody tells you about something which is impermanent, just tell them that Lord Krishna has given this message of love and no one else can give this, because love is something that is eternal and only Lord Krishna can give us that eternal love for Him, which will take us back to Godhead. And so this is His message. premāñjana-cchurita-bhakti-vilocanena sadaiva hṛdayeṣu vilokayanti śyāmasundaram acintya-guṇa-svarūpaṁ govindam ādi-puruṣaṁ ahaṁ bhajāmi. Hare Krishna.